A big thanks to VW Mastercars Hatfield for staying with us on the journey in 2023 so far, as well as Farm Jam Hare Scramble Championship, the Franchise Co, Troy Lee Designs, Rubine Racing, and EEP Fuel Supplies getting us out there to the events. Thanks guys, we couldn't do Hollywood without you. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show, and now that we've shown a little bit of love to our sponsors, we'll get ourselves ready to officially head into the second half of the season and the second half of pretty much all of the Tours Championships. Obviously, we're getting ourselves ready to go forward into Farm Jam. That's going to be an incredible race, a brand new venue at Cannonball Pass. So get your entries in. You saw the video last week. It'll just give you a little teaser and a taste of what's to come. But of course, me and the Live-X lads, we'll see you out there on the line as well. Right now, we're getting ourselves ready to deliver another banger to you. Last week was all about Forge Racing, their third round of the championship, and they're having a great season so far. They knew going into this one it was going to be Dust Bowl racing. Cold smack bang in the middle of winter, but the venue out at Tapkar at Delmas delivered the goods and gave us some great racing. Hope you guys had a great day racing out there with us. And here's the show to make you superstars. Enjoy.
Okay. Right smack bang in the middle of winter in Delmas, round number 3 of the now successful Forge Racing Championship. With 2 rounds already done, and they both went extremely well. Now we head into round number 3 with good numbers on the page. The day giving us 180 entries in Women's Month. So there was going to be a pink theme to the day as we got ready for the racing action.
Okay, so here we are. It's Forge Racing, round number 3 of the championship. Right smack bang in the middle of winter, in the middle of Delmas. I love this venue, dude.
Yeah.
What have you got for us?
It's a fast-flowing track. Like I said, Jaco said to me, he said every track is unique. So everyone has got it. It's like Bronx, there's a lot of turns. This one is more Midland, so there's not lots of rocks or woods. They plant here, that's it.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of straights. We've got about 3 straights. But other than that, we've got fantastic prizes coming up. A lot of vouchers. So thanks to all the guys sponsoring. I appreciate it. And the guys from Volkswagen for you. And then we got a long jump competition today for the one prize for the quads, 1 prize for the 2-wheelers, and we also got a 3-spot prize for the dress up, the tutus and all of that. So
that's great, man.
Yeah, we try to keep the guys busy. And the guys from Tapkar did a lot of effort. We've got a live DJ here. We've got a large called Elof here looking after the kids. So mom and dad can just book them in and come and pick them up whenever they want.
Forge, you're making it happen.
As always, after chatting to Anton, we head into the pits to chat to some of the players.
Okay, it's the morning session. Juniors and the quads are going to be going out. This is one of the fast kids out there. Liam, you're having a great season, but you need to start getting those wins. So you feeling good about this one today?
Yeah, I think I can win this one. I'm going to try my best to win.
Tell me about the setup on your bike. You seem to be kind of figuring things out at the moment.
Yeah, we are testing some stuff and trying some new stuff. This is a test run for us. So we are just trying to test some stuff, and yeah, we will see what we can do.
We'll see what he's got. Forge Racing, round number 3 of the championship, and we're out here at Die Tapkar. Brian, you know this area, you know what to expect. What do you got for us?
Yeah, look, we've been here before. It's a nice venue. I think today it's going to be dusty. It's been dry. There's been no rain. No wind either this morning. So yeah, it's going to be important getaway and stay out of the dust as best we can.
What tyres have you got on? Have you got some freshies? Because it's always wheel spin city up there.
Yeah, we've got some decent tyres on today. The CSTs, hopefully we're going to launch them off the line. Yeah, we'll go chase the guys today and have a go.
What do you think about walking around the pits? Lots of quaddies. I love this.
Yeah, look, I saw on the entry list there's a couple of new names on the list that we don't recognise, which is great. You know, the more new guys we get into, the better. This is a great venue for new guys to come and sort of cut their teeth on. And some of them run a great venue. It's well marked. It's easy. It's not too technical. Not a bike breaker. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, they tell their mates. So next time we'll have even more.
After the riders' briefing at Die Tapkar, standard option, we head to the gates. The morning session would be a 2-hour race for the quads and a 2-hour race for the junior motorcycles with the quads. Opening up our racing accounts, combining the gates out of the start queue for the Q1s and Q2s. Sean Kutzer gets his first ever hole shot. It was short-lived. He made the hole shot, stalled out, picked up a bike, and the rest of the guys ran out. So what could have been a great day for Sean was going to be chasing into the dust. The second gate would then be made up of the seniors and masters, and once again, the whole shot superstar that is flying Brian Herbst would be out of the gate nice and early. He'd be chased down by his good buddy, Francois Smallberger. Those two would quickly close in and catch up to the tail end of the Q1 and Q2 gates that went out first. Then our quad ladies were looking forward to going out into the racing field as well. They'd be combined with the single entry coming in from the WOW category. The ladies were really looking forward to the layout here at Delmas. Very basic, very nice and easy to learn as well. So the morning session would be fun for them. For the first lap, the wind was low, but as the racing picked up, so did the wind. And that meant the dust cleared nice and early. We went back on the line and picked up on the junior gate, where the stacked field of 85 and 85 pros would be banging bars early on to go out and see who got clear air. A nice lap laid out for the kids, and it was Drickus van der Merwe for the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad that got the cheese. He would run clear air and go out into the distance. For the 65s, the whole shot machine that is JL. That's John-Luc van der Westhuizen from the Vans Racing Husqvarna squad out in Middelburg. He got the cheese and would run out front early on. And on the 50cc's, it was Ian van Rensburg from SVR Racing who would run the numbers. A big confidence booster for the kid who's on the up and up in 2023. With all the kids out there on the field, we go back and chat to Anton about the junior loop.
Take us through the junior loop. Tell us what we got.
Okay, yeah, so we've got a crossing. We're going to come out here over the road. There's no mud, so they'll just run along the midi lines. Then they come back. Well, it's about a 10k loop, but like I said, it's only midi lanes. And then they got a little mud patch, but nothing major. Coming back all the way over, close to the main house on the farm, and then I'll come back onto the Domwall and back. So there's nothing technical. It's a fun day. It's more of enjoying it than competing.
So let's go out on the track and pick up the ladders as we climb our way to the tippy top. On the 50cc gate, Arizona Danielle only completing a 5-lap race, but she did a good job of things out there after having some problems off the line. A 6-lap count going to David Gordon. He had a real good run and is starting to become a polished racer as he gets more used to all of the varied tracks that we race out in Gauteng. Up the road and squeaking inside the top 3, his good mate, Eben Scholz on the J999, got his way up into a 3rd place and stayed on the lead lap with 7 laps counted. Sebastian Nel was in the 2 spots, and Ian van Rensburg takes another big win. He's taken an FJ win, that's a Farm Jam win. Now he stands on top of the podium at Forge. Starting to climb the ladders then into the 65s, and these kids were ripping the bars. Top 10 running a 7-lap count, and the guys at the sharp end of the field here did 10 laps. They were dizzy out there. Caden Denton smashing it into a number 10 ride with Carver Godrich, who knows this type of terrain, although it's a little bit further down the road from his stomping ground, but he was good enough to make single digits and break his way into a number 9. DC Daniel and the Daniels would be featuring in a lot of the categories. Declan Richards, a 7th place ride. He was running high inside of the top 3 in the early stages of the race, but unfortunately a problem on his machine, dropping him down to a number 7 himself. And a comeback ride from John-Luc van der Westhuizen saw them dicing it out in lap number 1. The Stubbs were back in full force. 2 of the sons and the dad were out there racing at Forge Racing, and the younger son, Zach Attack, getting it into the magical number 6 on the 96. Lo Lombard standing high on the pegs and putting on a show for the camera crew out there as he got up onto the dam wall, made his way inside of a top 5 on the J139. There was an unofficial long jump world championships for the kids racing in the morning session as well, and it was a 65cc machine that actually went fastest. Jay Eels got himself up there into a number 4 as he was dicing things out. Actually picked up the trail of the comeback kid that was John-Luc van der Westhuizen, as John-Luc managed to get himself up into 3rd place come the end of play after a big crash on lap number 1. Nice recovery ride, and he won the long jump contest along the way as well, showing how keen he was to get the hammer down. Wilco Deploy had no issues on the day, but he did get beaten by 1 rider. Wilco Deploy, very muscular in his riding style, rock solid in the number 2 spot, and looking good for a championship challenge. But on the day, it was Derek Milan, the J439. dominating, faultless on the day, and he took the cheese in the 65s. The 85s was going to be a busy one. These would be the kids spinning the fastest and the most laps of the morning session. We combined off the gate the 85s and the 85 pros. We pick up on the ladders on the 85 category, where Nicholas van Kirk walked away with a number 10, with Janke van der Berg inside of a number 9, squeaking it into single digits. Up the road, Brent Krief stole his dad's Dakar Enduro jacket and went out in the morning session. It was fresh in the morning, but it did warm up. What kept the temperatures down, though, was a little bit of wind that picked up on around about lap 2 or 3 for the juniors, and that was good news because it did start to clear some of the roost and dust that was hanging out in the air of Delmas. Logan Loebscher was up the road inside of a number 7, with Dylan Baldock taking a number 6. Many riders coming back and saying this was one of their favorite tracks because it was very simple, very easy to learn, and very safe. Josh Fotheringham, the Fotheringhams, good supporters of the Forge Racing Championship, making it up into a number 5, with Sneyman on one of the older Kawasaki's into a number 4. The fast dudes out there racing and trying to chase down points and championships into the top 3. Tristan Spencer took the Yami up the road into a 3rd place ride. And one of the riders that reminds us that it was a fun day out there as we celebrated Women's Month. All the kids rocking out there in pink tutus, some of them going full unicorn as well. That was Xavier Pino into a number 2 ride. The 95 rider impressed on the day as well. Took a number 2 spot in the long jump championships and 2nd place in the morning session. Chris Harmser Jr. racing out of the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. The kid that's outgrown his bike this year, but it was still good enough to walk away with the win at Forge, round number 3. Up the road into the big swingers into the 85cc Pro category, where 5 of the very best brought home the bacon. Dylan Besatenhout walking away to number 5. And for Rubine Racing, Werner Kleinams looking strong in his comeback as well. Remember, he blew up his bike earlier in the season as well, so he's just feeling his way back into the zone, walking away with a number 4 spot. Liam Skeepers, we chatted to the kid on the Honda Racing Factory squad before the race, and he looked steely-eyed and confident. 3rd place for the Honda man. Up the road from him was the famous 400 of Franco Ferri, racing out of the Roost KTM squad. Franco, one of the multi-talented juniors that's looking good on many of the championships. Remember, he races 4 championships on the season, so he's one of the busiest dudes out there, as is this kid, the J150. Remember that number and remember the name of Drickus van der Merwe. Dominating in the morning session, 11 laps scored and counted. The lap record on the morning, the whole shot. He got the cheese on the day, and he saw the flag. We chatted to him and a couple of the kids after the race.
Yeah, he kept me on my toes the whole race. I saw him the whole time when I went through the pits and stuff, but yeah, he was very fast today. Just the straights, I loved it. It was fast. Yeah, the length of the laps is very nice. It's short. I'm in the pits most of the time, and it's very well marked. So yeah, it's a good event.
Are you going to ride this afternoon?
Yes, I'm getting on the oval ones.
Yes, the track was very fast, yeah, really fast. There were some bumpy sections. The rest of the track, it was flat out 6 gear. The track being a lot shorter it's for me it's better. That's the most thing that I like.
Ian, we just finished the Forge race. Tell me how it went for you.
It went very good. Yeah, and there's a things I want to say something. When you get over that piece there's like when you turn, it's bumps and it's lacquer. Yeah.
It is lacquer. Thanks, Ian. We move forward into the confirmation boards then. 85 pros, Drickus van der Merwe beating out on Franco Ferri and Skeepers, with Kleinams picking up a magical number 4 ride. Chris Harmser Jr. stands on the top step for the first time on the Forge Tour, beating out on Pienaar, Spencer, Sneyman and Fotheringham. 65cc gate sees little Derek Milan, D-Man, getting it done ahead of Deploy, Van der Westhuizen, Ills and Lombard, with Stubbs just outside the magic numbers in a number 6. And on the 50cc gate, Ian van Rensburg takes his first win at the Forge Championship, beating out on Nel, Scholz, Gordon and Daniil. That's the juniors done. We get ready for the quaddies.
And then the quads, we just walked around the pits.
Yeah.
One of the best quad entries I've seen for a long time,
Yeah.
but tell us what they've got on the loop.
Okay, so the loop, they go out this side. So we got a split straight at the start. They go out. Got a lekker midland. They got a little rough section there, but nothing major. The buckies get stuck, but the bikes won't. Yeah, and everything is fast flowing. So we go a long loop lekker out, and then we got a crossing far on the other side, next to the main road. We'll come back, crossing over the road, and we'll go up to the main house also. We've got a lekker loop around. No mud, no rocks, no trees, just mealies.
Just mealies and dust and great racing as well. For a small gate for the quad ladies and wows, we combined it. It was Wilma Hankoets that walked away with the win in the quad wows, with Ronica Meyer taking a number 5, Charmaine Monroe a number 4, and Madison Lee Daniel taking a 3rd place ride. One of the best results we've seen coming out of one of the younger Daniels, getting herself used to going full championship racing. Anna Joost, after having a big crash at the previous round, was back and banging on the big Raptor, and she walked away with a credible number 2 ride. Cool to see her have a nice clean run at round 3 of the championship. But it was Natasha Stradom who walked away with the cheese this time around. 3 laps counted for the ladies as they muscled the quads around this nice, safe and easy track that was laid out for the quads. They saw a lot of the fast guys come through a couple of times, but they saw the flag and rocked it home. In the quad senior masters, there was some good racing going on there. Carl Stradom brought his big Raptor out and let the big dog eat. 4 laps counted with a number 6 ride. Jannie Meyer, who's looking very strong and seemed to have a very powerful setup going on the KTM, brought the 74 machine home. 4 laps counted, 5th on the podium. Watching this guy ride is an absolute pleasure. 4 laps counted for Vickers Pretorius. A little bit wild and loose over some of the jumps, but on the flatland, wide open, drifting sections, he was very, very much in control of his machine. Walks away with a number 4 finish. That gives him one of the highest placings that we've seen coming out of him on the tour so far. Mario Berta, who is in his comeback season, nice to see him improve on the LTR every single time he goes out. Solid, smooth and consistent as ever. 3rd place and starting to look like a real championship player. He'll be in the fight for 3rd place for the championship at the moment, unless he can start beating these 2 guys. Francois Smallberger, historically a Yamaha racer, and then this season picking up the Honda, starting to really gel with the machine. He had some issues at the previous events, but this time around, no slipping clutch, no slipping sprocket. It was rock solid, putting the power to the ground. 2nd place for Francois Smallberger Sr. Brian Herbst had no issues on the day whatsoever. Took his time, made the passes nice and clean. And the Yami made it all the way to the front, not only of his category, but also he was the fastest quad on the day, and he won the unofficial quad long jump championship. Flying Brian Herbst was back and banging at round number 3 of Forge Racing. The guys up the road from him, who Brian had to pass the whole way through the morning session, were the combined gates of the Q1s and the Q2s. This was very much Raptor terrain, so the more horsepower you had, the better day you were going to have at the office. Robbie Thompson on the C700 walked away with a number 4 ride, so he was able to unleash the power underneath his right hand. Ron Kutzer was having to shake out a little bit of arm pump. Looked like he got on his brother's bike as well this time around, the L3, walking away with a number 3 ride on the category. Sean Kutzer, who also had a very good run of form. He's been having some mechanicals on his machine, but it looks like there were no issues on the big KTM this time around. Sean Kutzer for the Gravity Racing squad, the L number 4, walking away with 2nd place. It could have been a win if he hadn't stalled coming out of the whole shot queue. But it was a perfect day at the office for Calvin Janssen van Vuren on the C204. The big guy unleashed the big quad and got the big result. 4 laps counted, and he walks away with his first win in the Q2 category at Forge, round number 3. Very, very tasty ride for Calvin. Just 2 quads going out there into the Q1s. Fani Muller only counting 1 lap before he had issues, so it was Michael Nolter who walked away with the win in the Q1s and will no doubt put his name at the top of the pile as the guy to beat. We chatted to the quaddies after the race.
Chatting to the flying Brian. Brian, just wipe your face. A little bit roosty out there.
Yeah, today was dust bowl racing. I think if you looked at the definition of the dictionary, today was that day. The dust was hectic and the wind hadn't started blowing yet. Lucky it picked up on the third lap. It started to blow a bit, but oh man, it was dusty those first 2 laps.
You and Francois ticked the guys off quite quick, eh?
Yeah, again, I think everybody got stuck in the dust, so as long as you were able to ride up on the back of them, you could get them. So yeah, I think by the end of lap 1, I'd managed to do sort of most of the guys. 2 and 3, I had a fairly clean run, so yeah, it was alright.
And you didn't have any mechanicals.
Yeah, Spike actually got to the end today for a change. I didn't like the long straight stuff, but we just looked after it and it got in. It was good. Yeah, nice good day in the saddle.
Hanging here after round number 3 of the quad race out here at Forge. Tell me, Small Burger, what was it all about?
Baie lekker geweest. Lekker track, stof. First lap, a lot of dust. I mean, me and Brian went out. Brian was ahead of me, and I was sitting in his dust. He caught one of the guys, and we were just sitting behind each other. And until second lap, it was better. Then we started pushing out. But it was lekker track, fast, but a lot of dust.
Here's a confirmation of the boards then as we start to go through it. Q1's Nolta beating out on Muller only counting 1 lap, and then Kelvin Janssen van Vuren ahead of the Kotzer Bros and Thompson. Quad Senior Masters, fly-in Brian Herbst getting it done, winning out the category and the event overall, ahead of Smallburger, Berta, Pretorius, Meyer and Stratum. And on to the ladies and wows. Remember, just the one finisher in the wows, that was Hankutz. But in the ladies, Stratum beat out on Joost, Daniel, Monroe and Meyer, and it was close at the finish as well. That wraps up the juniors and the quads. We hold our breath to get ready for the motorcycle event for the afternoon. For the afternoon motorbikes, obviously this made up the majority of the entries on the day. And after a riders briefing telling them how the day was going and how the quads had done in the morning loop, we chatted to Anton once again to talk bikes. For the afternoon for the bikes, yes. Obviously that's the biggest entry on the day. So what are you expecting for those guys?
Well, I'm glad there's a lot of entries first to start with. So also they'll go out, they'll also go that side. We also got a long jump prize for them. They'll go out. Also, hopefully the quads didn't mess up the track too much. And there's one section, we'll see how it looks, and we'll decide if we just move them up a little bit. And also fast flowing. No obstacles, nothing technical. So and we had Shane here yesterday to do a pre-run for us.
Medium size Shane.
Yeah. And he said, yeah, even if I do a pre-run, the guys are still faster than me, so I've got no advantage. I said, no, it's no problem. So he did a pre-run, and we took his opinion in consideration. And I said to him, Shane, how's the speed? How's the marking, especially the marking? And he said, but it's okay. So we had like 3 straights. I said, we maybe have to cut them. He said, no, it's perfect. So alles is mooi, and we're ready to go.
Alles is mooi. Let's head to the pits for some pre-race interviews.
Ladies racing is on the up out here at Forge Racing. Zaria, you made a name for yourself. What do you like about this tour?
I like the fast stuff, but ek hou meestal van die farm jams. Hierdie is bietjie iets anders, iets om aan te werk. So ja, dit is lekker. Ek hou net nie van die stof nie.
This tour is you and Vonda. You like this?
Yeah.
So can you beat her on a track like this?
Ek weet nie, sy's vinnig, sy's baie goed. Sy's my grootste kompetisie. En Betsy wat ook nou ingekom het vandag. Ek en sy ry altyd lekker saam.
Well, yeah, that's a very nice thing to have a girlfriend that loves what you do, supports you in what you do, and even finding her on the track and doing what I love, and also you can see she just loves it as well.
I think it's going to be great. I mean, I do love the faster stuff, but obviously the slow tech is like my specialty. I'm just looking for something new, and I think this might be it. No, but I've done a 424 here on an RM250. I can't remember what year, but it was in the classics, and it was quite fun. I'm very excited. A bit nervous, but can't wait.
I think it's going to be a tough one because the 250 is going to be a bit slow against the 450s. Just going to try my best, and hopefully I'll be in the top 3.
Yeah, the GXCC went well, and yeah, I'm going to try it again today, and it looks like it's going to stick for the rest of the year. I think it's going to be good. You can be more aggressive, so I'm going to try and be more aggressive. and just work on not getting too much arm pump through the day. Yeah, this is ideal practice. It's going to be good, good practice for the upcoming national, and yeah, looking forward. It looks like Kobus is in my class, so that's going to be interesting, and yeah, going to be lekker.
Arrived here at 99, last minute thing. I've ridden this terrain before. I love it. It's fast, it's dusty, but it's what I like. I think today, if all goes according to plan, I'll be pushing quite hard, and I want to really see if I can hit the top 3, if not a win. This terrain is marvelous. These events, the Forge races, are really well organized. You know, it's not all about just pro riders coming out and smashing it. It actually gives a good base and foundation for newcomers that wants to join the scene. People like me that just want to stay fit, and you know, this is really, it's an awesome event. I just love it. I'll be back for plenty more.
Good vibes down in the pits. Let's take it to the gate. Pro riders would take us out as always, and John Buerta, on his second time of asking on the big 450, would be going to see what he could do against a mixed bag of riders. Remember, the way that the Pro Gate runs at Forge Racing, you can pretty much ride whatever you've got out there. John taking the big factory Honda out to a hole shot, and he was gone. In the OR1s, Drickus van der Merwe, after wrapping up another win in the morning session, got back out on the big 500, saw clear air, and he would chase onto the back end of the pro racers up the road in the queue. 6 months out in the wilderness, Lawrence Shangguan from SVR Racing got the cheese, got the whole shot, and ran out front in the early stages of the race. That was for the OR2s. The OR3s was going to be a mixed situation as well, but cool to see Lohan LaRue getting it done on the 444 Motorsport machine, charging hard and running good numbers. For the seniors, it was going to be interesting to see what Yanni Potgieter could do. Was this going to be a 500cc racing track? Himself and Billy Human out there on the Yami 450, and Potgieter on the big 500. For the Masters Gate, Charles Van Roy got a good pull off the line, but just crossed things up a little bit on turn number 1. Himself and Timmy Dreyer were going to be smashing bars in the early stages until Anthony van der Walt clicked it into high gear on the Sherco. For the ladies' gate, it was Nicole Duplessis, the pocket rocket, that got the job done once again, but she'd have good company in the early stages at least. The compounds were there, and Zaria on the Yamaha to see what was going to go down. A massive gate for the ladies, but an even bigger gate for the WOW Superstars, where Alistair Stubbs on the old KTM was going to be going up against some young blood, Chris Homser Jr. and many of the rest of the riders chasing his wheel to see what they could learn from the old master. The quads had done a great job opening up the loop, so it was very clear where all riders had to go as we now go up and climb the ladders. We'll start things out with the enormous field of WOW class racers, where we saw well over 20 of the very best. Some of them newcomers, some of them familiar names, going out there and racing the very safe and clean run that was just over 30 Ks of lap racing in the mealy fields of Delmas. Jason Farrow got it done with a number 10 with Francois. That's Faf de Toy getting it done on the F28 into a number 9. Francois Bosch was up the road into a number 8 with Mark Stratham squeaking his way into a number 7. Martin Olivier was out there representing for the squad, the OL4, dancing his way up to a number 6 ride. Andre Locher on the 101. Just outside of the lead lap, managed to tag 4 laps of racing with a race lap time of just over 2 hours before the flag came out for him. Up the road, and the guys dancing. That one tiny bit of mud did cause some problems because those ruts got super deep as the afternoon session went on. Jaden Berry on the Yami getting it done to a number 4 with Corbin Lindsay, incredibly enough, taking an 85cc Husqvarna on the WOW gate all the way up to a 3rd place finish. Alistair Stubbs, old man Stubbs, getting it done and showing the kids the way around. And just one man beating Stubby on the day. Stubby eventually walking away with number 2 spot. And Dwayne Fritz Van Sale getting it done on the 180 machine. The Smoker dancing 5 laps all the way to the checkered flag. For the ladies' gates, and once again with Women's Month rocking and rolling the whole way through the racing month of August, we saw the biggest ever entry of ladies at the Forge Racing Championship. 10th place going to Nikita Frampton, Zanelle Kruger to a number 9, and Jonas Muir to a number 7. Shelley Compant walked away with the honor of a number 7 ride, and she was the best dressed lady out there. And yes, those feathers made it from the start all the way to the finish as well. Anne-Marie Goes dressed her bike up absolutely perfectly, pink as pink can be, to a number 6 finish on the day, and represented herself and Women's Month with pride. 5th place and making it onto the box, taking the cheese on the M111 with Morizel Bester to a number 5 ride, with Betsy Millman just up the road on a number 4. All these ladies rocking a 4-lap racing count, meaning they really put the hammer down and toughed it out. Into the magical top 3, and it was Nicole Compant. She has been a strong rider the whole way through the championship tour. The diminutive rider who actually needs to be held coming off the line because her legs can't quite reach the ground, walked away with a number 3 ride on the 172 machine. The pocket rocket, Nicole Duplessis, on the 350cc KTM got it down to a number 2 ride, showing that the fitness regime and the program that she's working on in 2023 is definitely working. 4 laps counted for her, but a 5-lap racing count shows how dominant Zoria Fari on the Yami 254 stroke was on the day. The 886 showed that she really gelled with the terrain out at Delmas. Climbing the ladder then into the Masters category, where once again we saw some very strong competitors coming in. Some new blood and some championship racing players that are going to be in it to win it the whole way through the season. Andre Neethling walking away with number 10 ride on the day. Willem King took his gas machine to a number 9, with Frikkie Ellis representing out there to a number 8. Stewie Holiday rocking and rolling and bringing it home with a tasty number 7. We noticed with the Masters category, these guys stayed together in the early stages until a little bit of fatigue started to come into play. Ahead of Stewie Holiday was Peter Compant. The Compants representing in almost all of the categories out there. And then into the top 5 were the championship players. JJ Duvall for the Mastercars VW Hatfield squad, taking it to a number 5 with his good buddy Dick Bessinger just up the road from him on the C699. A nice mixture of 4-stroke and 2-stroke battling their way onto the box. Nice representation for the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad out here at Forge Championship. Into the top 3, Timmy Dreyer had a good pull off the line. He was running inside of the top 2 in the early stages until some of the charges started to come on through. Dreyer walking away and staying on the lead lap, 5 laps counted, and very respectable racing lap times. Charles Van Rooy, who's on his comeback season as well, crossing over from motocross and showing what you can do with motocross skills when it comes to cross-country racing. 2nd place for him, but it was Anthony van der Walt on the Sherco 300. This guy is also on a comeback season, but we're starting to see him rise to the top of all of the championships that he's competing in. On the 300cc 4-stroke Sherco, van der Walt was gone on the day, and super stoked with the results. In the seniors, Stephen Kutzer in a number 10, and then big Chris Harmser, the main man out of VW Mastercars Hatfield, walking away with single digits. 9th place this time around, but sucking dust the whole way through the day. Sean Spencer was up into single digits as well, walking away with the yummy 2-smoker into a number 8 ride, with Sean Bodenhorst enjoying his time on the bars once again to a number 7, just easing his way back into racing once more. Nicholas Morgan, after doing some daddy duty in the morning, was out there ripping the bars to a number 6 on his seniors ride in the afternoon session, with JJ Rousseau comfortable in a number 5. DJ Milan was super fast and one of the big threats to walk away with podiums this time around, but dropping down to a number 4 come the end of play because of the sheer pace of the guys that ran inside the top 3. Ryan Smith, who's one of those riders who can turn his talents to every single track, riding out of Roost KTM on the big 450, unleashed the beast and got one of his best rides under his belt with a 3rd place finish on the 72 machine. Philly Human got the whole shot coming out of the gate on the Yami 450, and kept solid and consistent. The top 2 riders in seniors going on a 6-lap racing format. Human got bested on the day, though, by this guy, Yanni Potgieter. Potgieter's on a bit of a burner now, coming off a couple of wins on the Big 500 and some very strong running numbers in the regional championship. It was Human with a 2-spot and 350 on the bike, but 500 in the engine for Yanni Potgieter, dominating at the event. Into some of the big dog, the big swingers out there in the OR categories, the OR3s, that was made up of 254 strokes and a couple of smaller smokers getting the job done out there. Katsevich with the number 10 ride. Devan Petersen could have run higher, but a snap chain early on in the race meant he had to do some running, man. He got the repairs done and actually walked away with a single-digit finish into a number 9. So that's a nice fight back from Petersen. Dylan Besadenhout was up the road from him with a number 8 ride, with Leonard van der Berg squeaking it into a number 7, trying to chase down onto the back wheel of Hansie van der Berg. Van der Berg getting a number 6 ride going. The track was holding up nicely, but the wind wasn't consistent throughout the afternoon session, meaning some laps were no dust, some laps you were eating it. Hendrik Swartz knows what it's all about when it comes to Forge racing, and he's got a good championship run going. Squeaks a top 5 at most of the races. Ron Upperman was one of the tasty guys dancing it out there. Brought the smoker home to a number 4 ride. Chandre Bosch, he's looking very nice. The Bosches getting supported by the Vans racing crew. They came down from Mpumalanga and walked away with some good results in the day. Jandre running the numbers in 3rd place with his dad rocking out there as well. We'll chat about him just now. Trevelyan Howard was out there on the Yami on a bit of a comeback trail, looking oh so factory. And the top 2 riders in the OR3s got a 6-lap racing count done. Trav Howard into a number 2, and Nathan Godrich showing that he's starting to get back onto the numbers that we saw him run very high in the last couple of seasons. Nice to see him coming back and firing back strong. The OR2s, very strong numbers coming off this gate as well, but it was the guys that ran high that would definitely show the class of the field. Estienne Kutzer with a number 10, with Danny Pienaar to a number 9, and Willy Olivier dancing his crazy setup all the way to a number 8. Vincent Van Rooy bringing that motocross elbows up high, beautiful riding style on the 126 to a number 7 finish. One of the smallest kids out there on the C856, that's Janko van die Kerk, can barely swing his leg on the bike, but it doesn't matter. He brought it home to a number 6 finish. Just missing out on the magical top 5 to Jandre Visser. Occo Hennup was up the road into the big numbers on a number 4 with Jerome Stubbs working on his high-speed flatland riding. He's super fast in the tech. Now he's fast in the lowlands as well. Stubby taking a number 3 finish on the Access House. 250 KTM. Lawrence Shangguan showed that he lost none of his speed, but maybe lost a little bit of fitness as he dropped down to 2nd place. But that's after 6 months of not racing. Shangguan on the SVR racing machine, good enough for a number 2 spot, but it was Butte Hennings on the Roost Racing KTM that fired it out and put on a show to take his big win. Daddy Bosch, that's Johan Bosch, walked away and brought the brand new box fresh Vans Racing Husqvarna 450 to a number 10 finish. He'll be happy with that, with Hendrik van der Merwe just up the road from him on the Yami, dancing it to a number 9. Johnny Roos, after eating it hard over the bars on the big jump on lap number 2, recovered and still walked away with a number 8 finish. Tough Guy of the Day award going to that kid. Marius Leroux was up the road from him in a number 7, staying on a 5-lap racing count, with Jaden deployed into a number 6. The track held up nicely. It was only really roosty and dusty in the very harsh Milliefield areas, but on the hard pack areas, you could really grip it and rip it and enjoy the terrain. Johannes Grobler walking to a number 5, with Ben Vessels up the road into a number 4. Dean Denton had a good gait and ran good pace in laps 1 and 2. That set him up for a good day at the office as he stayed on a 5-lap racing count, but the guys that broke their way into the top 2 were on a 6-lap count. That means they were really flying. Drickus van der Merwe, after winning the morning session, stepped on to the big dog to a number 2 finish. Not the perfect day, but not far off for the kid racing out of VW Mastercars Hatfield. It was Vernon Nordier, though, riding out of Vans Racing on the factory Husky 350, who's got a big smile on his dial at the moment. The kid has found his mojo and found his groove once again in 2023. On to the pro category where the big swingers were out there trying to see what they could do. Matty Sneyman had issues on the day, only finishing a 4-lap racing count for the VW Mastercard squad. He had some issues, but no problems for medium-sized Shane. Big Shane actually running out there. Nice to see him represent and go for a full pro season for Forge Racing. Ninoba to a number 7 ride with his stablemate Brendan Kotzer on a freshie 2023 model 450 KTM and taking it to a number 6 ride for the VW Mastercard squad. A privately entered Honda that is Ashley Engelbrecht doing an incredible ride as well. He seems to love the format of racing out at Forge, taking it to a number 5 with Francois Swanepoel. Normally racing in the Masters category, but deciding on this tour to really up his game and race against the pros, walking away with a number 4 finish. Brandon Furry had some problems restarting his bike on the final lap going after a refuel, but still managed to bring home the Raceworks KTM 350 to a number 3 finish and 6 laps counted. Kurbis Bester, Baby Bester no more, charging his way through and forward to a number 2 finish on the Berm Racing Husqvarna 250, second place for him. But you cannot fight against the thunder that is now John Boy Buerta. Johnny B. Good is charging hard and takes his best finish ever. A category win on the factory Honda 450 and the overall. And that's going to put a smile on his dial as he finds the confidence that he lost in the early part of the season while he was racing the smaller CC category bike that he just simply outgrew. Now it is John Boy and the 450, the ultimate combo.
Johnny, looks like the journey's complete. Yeah. Happy days on a 450, class win and overall.
Yeah, yes, it was a lucky day. I got the start, got lost in the first lap, so got caught up to the front again, and yeah, yes, I haven't rode this lucky in a long time.
Yeah, man. Tell me about the track, the loop. It's very much a sprint loop.
Yeah, yes, it was a sprint loop, but it was safe, eh? It was nice, yeah, nice and flowy, nice and fast.
Tell me about what you've changed in the last couple of weeks to develop your style on the 450.
Just to be smoother, ride a gear higher, and just overall like getting stronger.
I haven't seen you smile like this for a long time, man.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy. I'm going to try and get this momentum going and try and ride like this at the National.
Great work.
I'm quite happy. It's just the dust and some of the back markers made it much more harder, and then couldn't see in the dust, so we all just went around the corner, and then luckily John turned around and I just quickly threw a U-turn. The track was nice, good markings, and like fast.
Let's confirm the results then. On the pro gate, Johnny Buerta taking the win on the 450 ahead of Bester on the 250 and Furry on the 350. Nice mixture of machinery just ahead of Swanepoel and Engelbrecht. And then into the OR categories. OR1s, Vernon Nordia beating out on Van der Merwe, Denton, Vessels and Krobler to a number 5. OR2s, nice mixture of machinery and names at the top of the pile as well, where Buerta Hennings took the win ahead of Sean Guan. Welcome back to racing for SVR's Sean Guan with a number 2 spot ahead of Stubby on the Axis machine, Henop and Fisser to a number 5. It was Godrich back on top as well. Long may this last as well. Great to see him coming back and charging, beating out Howard, Bosch, Opperman and Swats. To the senior gate. J. Pot, Yanni Potkira dominating at the front with Willie Human, and then Smitty on the Roost KTM ahead of Milan and Rousseau. For the Masters gate, the little guy on the little Sherco, but big numbers and big results for Anthony van der Walt, beating out on Van Roy, Dreyer, Bessinger and De Vol. To the ladies' gate, Zoria Farid gets a big win going as well, putting huge time into Nicole Duplessis, Nicole Compant, Betsy Mullman and Marizal Bester. And to the stack gate of the crazies that is the WOW class. Dwayne Fritz Van Sale beats out on Ali Stubbs, Corbin Lindsay, Jaden Berry and Andre Loubser. And that is round 3 of the Forge Racing Championship in 2023 wrapped up tight in a bow. We'll say goodbye to Delmas as we get ourselves ready for the final 2 rounds of the championship. It looks like we're going to Aston Lake once again, but watch out and keep an eye on the press as we announce the news going forward right now. Thanks to Tapkar, thanks to Delmas. We'll see you later.
So that is 3 rounds of Forge racing done and dusted. 2 rounds still to go. Watch out for the dates and venues to get delivered as we get ourselves ready to close in on their inaugural championship. Remember, they're going to be crowning new champions as it's a brand new tour in 2023, but they are definitely going to go racing once again in 2024. The lads are super stoked on the season thus far. Get those entries in, though, for this weekend because we're going to see you out at Hartees Dam. Cannot wait to get out there. It is such a cool venue and great to see Farm Jam delivering the goods, going out there, putting in the extra work, and going and finding new venues for us all to go play in. We'll see you guys out there on the line. For now, support the guys that support us. Thanks once again to all of our Hollywood sponsors and partners, and we'll see you out on the line. Stay tuned for more action. There's plenty more to come in 2023.